This is Hard Pop, everybody. I kind of feel like male Fannie Lou Hamer, the way I experience life and the way I study politics and the way I study politics and black people. I kind of feel like a male Fannie Lou Hamer. Like right now, I live in nice communities, and as a black person, sometimes I end up in the hood, and you know, and but I end up in a very intellectual way and just a natural way. And I end up teaching sometimes and preaching and talking and doing different things. But I kind of feel like a male Fannie Lou Hamer. And we do what people do, but when we do it, it comes with a stigma or it comes with a price, and it's not the way a human would do it. And people dehumanize you at first sight. That's what slavery have done. People dehumanize you at first sight. However, at some point when you got what we got, a person like me, they end up humanizing you from a heartfelt experience. That the fact you are human and the fact that you do deserve policy and correction and the benefit of the law. You see, I had a police officer that stopped me, and my son was in the car, and my son had some weed. And I told my son, I said, don't get in my car with weed. Don't get in my car with that. Because we can get stopped. You're going to smoke something now, or you're going to put it up or whatever. Because every state has not legalized marijuana. So, he kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. My insurance had lapsed somehow. The police stopped me and said, you didn't have any insurance. Now, with no insurance car in Atlanta or Georgia, they take the car. They had got to the point where they were taking the person to jail. So these were white police officers. They white. And he said to me, I was in an accident. So sometime I had a painkiller. And I had one in the door in case I hurt. And the police said, well, you look like you got a Percocet in the door. And do you take those? He ran my name already. He knew I took them. I said, yeah. He said, well, do you pop them in half? I said, yeah. He said, well, I need you to clean that up. But he looked at my son. He said, you lied to me. You said you didn't have any weed. He said, but you did. My son called it something that people call it, but it's not weed. It's something legal. And he said, well, try another one. He gave him a ticket. But when it was time for him to give me my ticket, he said, I ran out of paper. My printer stopped working. And see, I'm a manager in the community. And he was like that with me. He said, now, I'm not going to leave your car here. I'm going to take it. It's got to go because I registered and all that. And you got to have some insurance. But the Toyota right across the street, and it was directly where I was looking for some odd reason. This is also spiritual. And so I said, well, how much is it going to cost me? The man told me how much it was going to be. And I had tears in my eye because I realized it could have been a lot more things that happened. And I looked at the officer, I said, you got a lot of respect for a man. And my son, he kind of felt some type of way. I said, you got a lot of respect for a man. But the thing about it is, people know who you are. And we running around as the American Negro and don't understand the policy in a social manner. We understand it. A lot of us understand it in a place of politics, in a place of legislation, but not in a social way. There's a common law that you benefit from as a people who's been respected by the United States government. And that's where they failed us. That's where they failed slavery. So when you mirror a black person in the country, you're seeing slavery as somebody who does not deserve the benefit of the law. This is why we deserve reparations. This is a very deep situation. It's not about people choosing. It's about people who have the right to choose. It ain't even about people choosing. It's about people who have that right to choose. White people have that right in a sense where it go deeper than your belly, down in your belly. It ain't about just racism. It's about I have a right to say whether or not you're respectful by identity because of slavery. Because of slavery. Not because of correction and because of a people, but because of something that happened that they have not even been required to look at. But we suffer. This is a very serious matter. And I understand, I understand the black thought leaders. I'm walking, I'm taking a jog, I have to get my exercise. I understand the thought leader saying that we in war. We are in war. But the people that don't understand it and should understand the war is our own people. Everybody else know that, look, I'm tired and we clearly see that black people are not protected for whatever reason, but we don't have to think about it. The reason they don't have to think about it is because they're not the ones who are suffering this. We are the ones, majority, have to think about it. And I give applause and a pat on the back to the new voices of black media. And everything we doing, shouting out, ringing the bell. Even if I don't have many followers. Some of my followers are people with 100,000 followers because of the information and the camaraderie that this language can foster. So this is why we important. The grassroots is something very special. It's very special in terms of real information and real data and real connection and a quantificism. This is not only analytical, politically thorough, this is also spiritual in the terms of the way you feel and the way you think, how you identify with spirits and awareness, how you identify. So you can't identify, if you can't identify with this spiritually and awareness, you will never bring forth a message. You will never bring forth correction. Never. Because you have not identified with it in a self-preservation. The first nature of law is self-preservation, which gives a people a chance to practice a spiritual culture in terms of not even discretion, but in terms of defensiveness even. They are a people. We are not a people because of dysfunction. And we are making ourselves functionable as a people at the grassroots right now. And that's what people are missing. And they think they are functional because they have been at one upon a time. But they were defeated in the 60s. Y'all got to hear what I'm saying. They was defeated. And they think they have what they got before they were defeated. And you don't. When you are defeated, something happens in that. That means what you have dear in terms of what war you have fought, you have lost it in the sense of this. It depends on in which and how you were defeated. It depends on the chess or checkerboard in which you were defeated on. And in terms of a people and policy, like the way we exist and have been defeated, there is no grounds for being defeated in the state that we were in as slaves and slave descendants. I mean, as slaves, not just slave descendants, but as slaves and slave descendants. There was no, all bets are off. Just like all bets are off when somebody call you a nigga. All bets are off when you're being treated like that in terms of policy, law, correction, and power. That's how it's supposed to be looked at. And we saw it that way in the science. The reason I'm saying it is because we actually looked at it like that. And they disbarred that type of energy and that type of concept and receptiveness. And they did not rule out death. They used death. This is how serious it is. They used death. They first killed your leaders, and now they shooting you unarmed by saying you are some type of person because of where you come from and who you are and what you represent politically. Because these people that come from other nations are dangerous. They parts of gangs, MS-13. They parts of a lot of things that represent total violence, and they are being violent and disruptive in the community. But as the American Negro and as a descendant of slave, you have identified with it because they say you have, and not only that, because of what they were able to do to you in terms of to get the action they have and the reaction that they have gotten from you as what you are, and that's a bottom caste. A bottom caste. And this is why reparations is due. Because even of that, and you got politicians that belong to you that have now said you are not important because society was able to do that in a fashionable manner, in a manner of power, where you built the most strongest towns, where you gave more government to society, where you said now, this is a place where other people can benefit because of me, and stood proud as a black person and said, I want to see this person benefit. We did it for every group, as a matter of fact. And I know you don't want to reflect that because you got so much wrong with you. And when I say that, it doesn't sound right. Because it's like, he right, but there's so much wrong with me. How in the hell could I do that for somebody else? That's what it's like being the black person, the American Negro in America. It's like, damn. And then you get up in the morning and do it again because your brain is plugged to it like the Matrix, and you living through a dream and not reality. This is what this is. So this talk and discourse is for you to change your mind. It's not about just talking. You identify as a person of wisdom, as a family member. My aunties and uncles. We black people, we call older men unc. We call older women auntie, mama. We call young girl my sister. So we are a people of blood lineage. And what this means is for you to now say, oh, I need to wake up at home by this lamp with hardly no money because I'm important, and what I say affects another person in my family or in my community, in my society, as a black person. We are trying to get reparations in this war against black people. They owe us, and they are afraid because they owe us more than what they want to give, and what they probably will have a real, if they gave us everything they owe us, the economy would change due to who we are and what they have done to us and how much they owe us. But they have to start. And that's what I want. And that's what we're going to get. That's what we want because it's our life at stake. If we don't have the support of America and what it embodies as a society, we're not a part of it and we die. Not only by shooting each other, by being improvised, but not being corrected, not eating properly. This is a 10-year, 20-year plan. This is a science plan. It's not, I'm going to shoot you and kill you all at once and blow you up. You're not going to eat properly and you will die. The doctors are going to kill you. Planned Parenthood is going to abort your children because black females feel incompetent because of what society said they were, coming from slavery and a power source over their heads. that tells you what to do, because we have power and we can protect our families and protect anybody else's family who come here, and you will believe that you can't do it because you did something wrong. And that wrong thing you have done, you have not caused unity and said one thing and heard your thought leaders in this talk. God sent me here. Nature, the power of nature. Not just anybody. I'm not. I've been a minister since I was 16. This is real. And we have to remember each other. That's self-preservation. Not necessarily speaking out about your cause, but remembering each other first and understanding how to speak out regarding your cause. And the check is not just about one check getting cut. It's about the remembering of a liberty. Not just the people, but remembering what the people have done and remembering a society and system, remembering that in terms of what it offers people. My society offers people protection with a dollar amount, and it buffers them so they can have a more anchored and comfortable way of choosing. And it has not given it to me. It has told me to work and put my feet up by my bootstraps, all while burning my communities and cities in Black Wall Street and Rosewood and ideas, and yet telling me to go get it. So now I'm paying into a system that other people partake in as ownership capital, and immigrants have capital. And now I don't even know that I'm paying them. So I'm trapped in feudalism, and slavery still is here. Because I don't know I'm paying them. Because I have to look behind the fine print and see who they are. And largely, there are another people who white supremacy has partnered with because they have capital. Among 45 million Negroes that's in the country. And a lot of them are actors, dancers, and singers with money who choose not to look at this because they have been made to be a people. Because you're a millionaire do not mean that you're not a victim of white supremacy and being a Negro. And I've seen it largely in the community and among our icons and among the overclass and the overskilled. As a descendant of slavery, you came from a slave. And you have to know it as the Jews know the Holocaust. And that did not happen here. And it was not worse off and as harsh and as extensive as United States slave trade. And we have to wake up and we have to do it now and fast. This is real. It's not a game. Your young men running around, playing around, thinking they ain't got to work, and they have problems because somebody raped them or something happened and don't know how to go to the doctor and say something. Largely, as a community, that ain't even the deal. The fact that they have been denied access, that's a long reparations. So we not only dealing with ourselves, we dealing with a government who have fostered the sanction of wrongdoing toward the American Negro. And way out by Constitution. This is way by Constitution. We have to understand this, mothers and fathers. My mother, your beautiful self, you're still here. We have to understand this. We are strong in our bellies and in our minds. We cannot foster an image. We have to understand reality at this point. These are a people that we take care of. We even take care of white supremacists. Slaves took care of white folks. And now we're taking care of everybody else. But the floor has been raised. And this is where it stops. Reparations on board Sheila Lee Jackson. Put down the study and start talking like a revolutionary. The head of the CBC. Thank you for joining me.